Happy Monday, everyone. Carmen Broxma here with Choose Joy with Carmen. And we are back again for another episode of my MoJOY Monday. And I think this is probably going to be the last time I'm going to use a stamp set that is retiring because since things are selling out so quickly, I feel like for example, I'm going to be using this set today, but you can't get it anymore. It's already sold out. But the dies that I'm using that I got with them are still available. So I guess you could get the dies, and then if you had a bird set or something else that you could use that with. But I think this is going to be the last Monday that I'm going to use any of the retiring products. So I'm going to be using this that's retiring, and I'm going to be using the paper here, which is, let's see, I think it's called Beauty of Earth. And I love this paper. I thought it would be really pretty for this card. I'm going to be using the Misty Moonlight, which is a retiring in color. And I checked out the status inventory before I came on here. And as of that moment, it was available, this paper and the um, the ink pad and the paper, the cardstock. But that changes like minute by minute, so I can't guarantee that it's going to be available. But you can give it a try if it's something you're interested in. But on top of that, I am going to be using a new set. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to be using some new products, which I am really excited about. So here is one of them. This is one of my favorite new stamp sets in the new catalog. And I think it's because, first of all, I love wisteria. I think it's pretty in purple. But the reason why I love this is because of the sayings. Faith is about trusting. And I love that because I struggle in trusting. And I think that's why I have a lot of anxiety issues and stuff like that, because I'm not trusting that God is in control of everything. So I love anything like this. It's going to constantly be reminding me of where my trust needs to be. And it can't be in the things of this world or in my own thoughts. So I really love this. And so today's card, we're going to use that. And inside it's going to say, hang in there even when you don't understand. And I think that is such a great message because we do have to hang in there even when we don't understand. I think sometimes the whole anxiety issue happens because we're trying to understand. And, if it's not in our control, I started reading back this little book that I have that's called this, the Serenity Prayer. And so I have this little book that really breaks it down. And so I started reading that again so that I could try to focus on the things that are in my control, the things that are not in my control, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, anyway, we're going to be using this set because I love it so much, but we're just going to be using the words. But we're also going to be using, they have these new stylish shapes that's going to be in the new catalog. And we're going to be using this one right here to cut out the faith is about trusting that we're going to be using on the front of the card. So let's go ahead and pull in some supplies here so that we can start stamping. So let's see. I think what we're going to do first is I have a let's do the birds. So the birds have so they have the outside and then the insides where that you can use to kind of give it that a second color. So I'm going to pull in some scrap piece of basic white here. And I'm going to pull in my soft suede, because this is what I'm using as the card base, is soft suede. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this over here because I'm going to be doing some off stamping here. But for this part of, I'm just going to ink it up in the soft suede, and I'm going to stamp it without off stamping it. So I'm going to stamp one here, and then I'm going to turn it around and take, and if you'll notice once I stamp this that the two birds have a different look. So I'm going to ink that up in the soft suede and stamp that full inked on the basic white. There we go. Then I'm going to come in, let me close this up. I'm going to come in with, because the designer series paper that we're using is this one, and I will have all the dimensions on my blog. But I'm coming in with Mary Merlot because that's one of the colors in there. And I'm going to go ahead and now take the one that matches this bottom bird. I'm going to ink it up in the Mary Merlot. And then I'm going to off stamp it twice because I don't want it really dark. Then I'm going to come in and do my best to line it up without getting my head in the camera here. Hopefully I can do this and stamp that right over that bird. And see there, now you have a little bit of color. So you have two colors on that bird. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other one, but not in Mary Merlot. I wanted to do, because this also has the Misty Moonlight in it. So I'm going to turn this around, ink up the bird, and off stamp it again twice. 1, 2, and then try to line it up. Let's see here if I can get this. There we go. And then there we go. So there is that one in the off stamp Misty Moonlight. So you kind of have like a little boy and a little girl, right? Blue and pink. So I thought that was kind of cute. But it matches the designer series paper really nicely. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the, I have, so this is cut at 3 inches wide, and this is the soft suede, and it's 3. I went a little bit over, so I did 3 1/16 all the way around, because the die that I'm going to use, I didn't want it too close, because this is the die that we're going to be using. And so I wanted to make sure that I had room for a little border. So that's why I made it just a tad bit larger than this, but you're really not going to notice it once we get it assembled. So what I'm going to do is die cut this, and then also die cut the birds. And I'm not going to do that now, but I'm going to go ahead and show you that I've already done that ahead of time. So now we have our 2 birds, and we have this die cut here. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue this on here up at the top, and I'm going to put it up at the top where it's a little bit lighter. So let me go ahead and get my glue out. And I'm going to use the liquid glue here. And let's go ahead and just get some liquid glue. And I'm just going to do around the edges and a little bit more on the corners here, because I really don't think that we need to worry about the inside, because, you know, it's just going to be As long as this part, the outer edges are glued down, I think we'll be fine. So just put a little extra there. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it upside down so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead. And the good thing about this is you have that little wiggle room since it is the glue. So you can kind of look at it to make sure that you have it even. And then you can press that down like that. So what I wanted was I wanted the sentiment that we're using to go on the inside. And I originally had tried to just stamp it on here, but because I wanted to do it in the misty moonlight, it wasn't dark enough. So what I went ahead and did was stamped the Faith is About Trusting on some basic white. And I used that little, let's see, what did I do with it? This one, out of that new set. And I die cut that out. And then I went ahead and popped it up in the middle. So I've already went ahead and done that. So this is what it looks like. So now, then I took a piece of, so let's go ahead and get our card base going here. So the card base is the soft suede, and we're going to adhere a piece of basic white. So let's get the stamp and seal. And let me go ahead and get this put down. Okay, oops. Let's see if I can get that even with a nice even border on all four edges the best I can. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I went ahead and cut a piece of the Misty Moonlight, just not a full 1/4 of an inch smaller, but just enough to have just a tiny little white border there. So I wanted to go ahead and use an embossing folder, and let me grab that. It's called the Bark 3D, that's also retiring. And I wanted to emboss that with this folder because this is supposed to look like bark, you know, and I'm working with birds and stuff. So I went ahead and did that ahead of time. And then this is what it looks like. So because it's embossed, instead of using the stamp and seal, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue because we want to make sure that it gets in the crevices of the embossed places so that we make sure that it stays adhered nicely. So let's go ahead and get that on the front of the card. And we just want that little bitty border. Oops, not good. See if I can get that lined up before I actually press it all the way down. Looks pretty good. So now we can go ahead and press that down. And sometimes, you know, you could take that larger acrylic block that we have and set it on top until it dries. But we're just going to go ahead and move on and get this card assembled. And we're going to then put this. And again, I'm going to use the liquid glue because we want to make sure that it adheres nicely to that embossed area. So let's do that. And I want it to go down the center of the card, giving a nice border, the same border on either side. And push that down. And then we have our birds. So I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and adhere the birds with dimensionals as well as the sentiment is. I think I'm just going to put one on each of the birds. And I'm going to put one of them down here in the corner, kind of like. Maybe a little off, like that. And then the other one up here. So something like that. And we have our two birds. And then the inside, I wanted to go ahead and, since the set that I'm using, I didn't really see anything in there that I wanted to put on the inside. But this new set had this little leafy looking thing. And I thought that that matched really nicely the die cut area here. So what I did was I just stamped it in the soft suede full strength and then stamped it again without re-inking it there. And then my sentiments I did hang in there in the Misty Moonlight, and then even when you don't understand in the soft suede. So now this is going to be the inside of our card. And then this card will be done. But I was so excited that I could use some new products because I got them, and I'm really excited about so many other ones that are coming out, and I can't wait to. You might have already gotten your catalogs if you're a regular customer of mine. I don't really know when they're going to be arriving in people's homes, but I can't wait till I can at least open up the catalog and show you. So there you go. There is our card. Faith is about trusting. And then you open it up, hang in there even when you don't understand. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you are a current subscriber of mine, I just want to say thank you so much. And if you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And if you have friends that you know would really enjoy these card ideas, you could share my videos with them as well. And then that way we can make sure that people who really enjoy this kind of crafting can get these videos. So, alrighty then, I think that's it. I wanted to let you know that I just became, I'm a member of the Call Me Crafty Owl membership. And I just watched, it's called Craft Roulette. And I watched that this week. And because they come out every Friday night, and I became a member of them. So it's really fun. So I'm hoping to share some of the cards that I will be making to submit for their challenges. Because what it is they have a roulette wheel. And what you do is they when they send that off, when they spin the wheel, there are 4 categories. And so you have 4 categories that come up, and you've got to follow what those categories say. So for this week, and I will be working on that card hopefully here soon, because I got to get it submitted. But I think the category was, it had to have something down. So whatever you felt was down meaning, so maybe rain falling down or things like that. I'm thinking of using like a sun ray, like sun rays falling down. And the other thing was spring colors, and it had to have clouds in it. And what was the last thing? I can't remember what the last category was, but when I make that card, I think I'm going to go ahead and start video recording them as well and sharing them here out on YouTube and having it a playlist just for those cards, because I think it'll be fun to see what kind of cards I can come up with the challenges that they put out. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's why it's, if you want to make sure that you don't miss that when you subscribe, um, well, you'd have to get a notification if you wanted to know when I actually uploaded it. But subscribing to my channel will hopefully get you information that you need to know when I've uploaded a new video. Alrighty, well, you all have a great week, and we will see you again next Monday for another episode of my MoJOY Monday. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.